Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this movie Cuties, and I put that Cuties and WAP, okay, which is Cardi B's song, right? Her and whatever the other lady's name is, something Stallion, right? Megan Stallion, right? And I gotta laugh at this because here's the thing. Okay, because first let me talk about the whole political side of things. And as you guys know, I'm politically neutral. I think the whole political thing is stupid because people rally behind something, but they can't really and truly they cherry pick. When you pick a political party, you cherry pick. Because sometimes you can justify certain things, but when something is similar, you can't justify it, and then you look stupid, right? So I'm politically neutral. And I stay politically neutral because I think that you can really and truly see things for what they are and you can kind of make a good decision, right? Overall, versus just cherry picking. So, anyhow, if anyone sees the movie Cuties as some sort of a political argument, I think you're just sad. Not everything's about politics. We make everything about politics. Everything. You know, the fact I'm going bald, somebody can make a political argument about that. We make everything into a political argument. And that has been very recent. That hasn't always been the case. I would say probably in the last 10 years, everything is about politics. Everything. And it shouldn't be. But people do that because people want to literally find a reason, an excuse, if you will, to hate somebody that thinks differently than them or that they feel thinks differently than them. But the reality is that we all typically think somewhat similar on a lot of things. Why? Because we're a part of the American culture. Not black folks, white folks, Asian, and Hispanic. A lot of the people who are born and raised here, we all have a similar view. I mean, we're on the spectrum here, right? Some of us, and down the middle is down the middle, but some of us kind of stray over here and over here. Some of us are in the middle, but we don't want to really admit that. We really don't, because it's much better to be a part of a political gang and vote against your own interest and do things that are against your own health than it is to basically stand on principle and say, well, you know, I disagree with this and I agree with that. I had an argument with someone. I posted because a neighbor, their kids were playing WAP by Cardi B. And I did a video about this, but I deleted the video because I was going in and I felt like maybe I shouldn't have said some of the things I said. Maybe it was a little too harsh. But the kid is 10 years old playing WAP. Now, Zoe's 9. The kid was 10. She's playing WAP. And it's the uncensored version. It's not the radio edit. It's the deal. Now, she can't legally go in and purchase this at a store. But let's not split hairs here. So she's playing that, blaring it out loud. And I said I felt like the parents are trash because why would you allow your child to be listening to that, and especially a girl? Now, I'm going to say some things that people aren't going to like, and that's okay. But here's the problem when people really and truly don't think, right? We create these circumstances that lead to another thing. I look at connecting dots. When I think about something, I look at how things are all connected. I don't look at one principal point. I look at how everything is connected to it. There's layers to things. So this kid listens to WAP. And there's other kids who are younger than that out there too, listening to this. And I said I think the parents are trash. Now, there were people defending this, saying that the kids should be able to listen to whatever they want to. If their parents say it's okay, it's okay. You know, why are you making a big deal about it? I had one guy on Facebook literally say, I have no right to call the parents trash. and was really defending this, even saying that it was okay for the kids to listen to this. And I said, well, is it okay for the kid to be cussing? Not to the lyrics of what the song says, but also saying the F word and the B word and the S word and everything. And this person said yes if the parents explained it. And I'm like, are you nuts? I'm sorry. If they watch this video, so be it. You got to be crazy. Either you stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And some people will look at me who are watching this and say, you must be ultra liberal, because maybe some things I have a pretty broad view on certain things, pretty open-minded on certain things. And then some people may say, well, man, you must be really conservative, because I have a lot of views that may be that way. That's why I don't believe in one political view, because you can be all over the map on different things. It depends on the subject. And again, anyone who I think just picks one political party, you're missing the whole point, because you can't stand firmly, because you're going to be all over the map too. That's just how it is, right? But this person, and there are some who are very extreme, who anything goes. Doesn't matter. The kids can watch whatever they want, say whatever they want, do whatever they want. That's totally okay. They don't see that if a kid, some of these were kids who were like 5 years old, they don't care that a kid's 5 up to 17, they don't care what they do. They should be able to have the same rights as an adult. There are some people who believe that way. There are some people who think that a child, no matter what the age is, should be able to do exactly everything adults do, as long as the parents consent to it, and they think that that should be okay, and that we should not view the parents as trash or the parents as a negative influence. There are some people who believe that way. I view WAP, and no offense against Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, they can make whatever they want because they're making it for adults, right? I get that. It's not the creator of the music, it's the parents who allow the children to listen to the music. That's who I judge, and to me, it's trash. Now, I'm not someone who didn't just listen to gangster rap back in the day. I did. I sure did, but I was in high school. I was a freshman, right? Maybe a sophomore. I think I was probably a sophomore, junior. I was listening to gangster rap back in the day. Tupac, Dr. Dre, Snoop, all of those. West Side Connection, right? I was listening to all of that stuff, but I was quite a bit older. I wasn't like, 5 listening to that type of thing. When I was 5 and 6 and 7, I was doing hopscotch and watching my sisters do double dutch and, playing in the dirt and, building little cities out of sand and all that type of stuff. Like, I'm a big wheel trying not to fall, trying to keep up with my sister who has like a regular, because she's older, has a regular bike, and I'm on a big wheel and I'm trying my best. Like, that was what I did at that age. I wasn't listening to WAP. And my mama sure wouldn't allow me to listen to something like that. But let's talk about, so there's that part. Then you have something like Cuties. Now, I watched Cuties, and it didn't shock me because, to be honest with you, there are things that are by far worse. Actually, and I had this conversation before, in New Orleans and in other places, there are kids who listen to bounce music and other types of music, and they dress just like adults, like grown women, and dance the exact same way. That's been around for a long time. So what's in this movie is not much of a difference, right? Also, people talk about cultural difference. I do think there are cultural differences. I think that when you look at European countries, it varies. People in England might think this movie is just disgusting, and people in France may be like, well, I don't know. But here, generally, most people are going to find this disturbing, and I feel that they should. Just like I feel, to me, audio, visual, physical, it's all the same. It's all the same. I don't see it as any different. I'm against kids listening to WAP, the uncensored or the censored version, to be honest with you. And I'm also against kids being in things like this. I just disagree with, but I did some research, right? I did some research because here's the problem. Kids also can go on YouTube, and there are women who are on YouTube. And we sit here and talk about women should have the right to do whatever they want to do. And they should be able to wear whatever they want to wear. They should be able to do whatever they feel like. And I agree, that's fine. But also, kids have access to the same things that we do. And they can go onto YouTube and they can pull stuff up and they can see how women dress and how women, you have women on here who are gardening in basically thong underwear. Now, that's that woman's right. But also, keep in mind that other little girls see that type of stuff and think that's okay. And if you think that kids don't find it, you're wrong. Even Zoe found stuff, and we had gotten on her, found stuff on YouTube, and we had to have a conversation about her. Even though we had restrictions, she was still able to get around it. Even on their little tablet, you can have restrictions and blockers. There's still ways around it. It's not foolproof. I mean, there was stuff that we were like, whoa. So here's the thing. We talk about, when women out in public and they have short shorts on and short skirts on, there are girls, and it used to be the ones 13, 14, who look up to that and say, well, it's normal. Women wear that. I'm a woman, so I'm going to wear the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Now, people say, well, that's not the same thing, but you put yourself, again, I'm looking at connecting dots here. It's the same thing with Cardi B. I'm not blaming Cardi B. I'm not blaming that woman. I'm basically saying the message you send is that this is normal. This is normal because to a kid, they don't have the ability to think any way differently. They're not going to think any differently. And then people say, well, it's on the parents to teach them. Well, if the parents don't know, if the kids are, back when I was in high school, there was not a lot of places that you can go and eat, right? Or middle school. Now, that same area, there's all these little restaurants and fast food places, and the school allows the kids to go to these places. What if they're out and about or on a field trip and there's a girl walking around with Daisy Dukes on or a short miniskirt? The parents aren't there during these outings. And the girls are, and the guys are like, yeah. What I'm saying is that adults, all of us, hold responsibility as well. And we can't just cherry pick things like WAP and Cuties and other stuff that's disgusting and not also hold ourselves accountable. There's a time and a place. Time and a place. Kids don't see it that way because they're not developed to see it that way, and they shouldn't have to see it that way. I'm not saying that people should dress up in turtlenecks and no skin showing, but I think also you need to be very, very cautious of the environment that you're in. Now, some people will sit here and say that men shouldn't objectify women. Well, when we teach kids early on, little boys too, and cuties, even as a boy myself, when early on kids are taught that, hey, this is what women wear and this is what girls wear, the boy is being taught mentally that this is what women should look like, which is not necessarily the case. And you start to see girls and women as parts, not as a person. That doesn't change as they get older. Maybe there's certain things that obviously change, but in the back of someone's mind, that's what they view. So then we wonder why there's such a huge problem. Now, again, I'm not saying that we should all walk around with a Bible and all of this and blah, blah. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying connecting the dots. I'm just connecting dots here. So to me, it's all problematic. Now, I'm not saying that I'm holier than thou and I don't get on the YouTube and, watch folks twerking and TikToking and, some of the, especially in Japan, there's a lot of stuff in Japan of people who are, being all cutesy and all that. I'm guilty. I look at that stuff. All grown adults, I look at that stuff. Absolutely. Not gonna lie. Instagram, lots of buns and everything else. Yep, I do. And was conditioned that way as a kid, not by my mom let me see everything, but the kid bringing the Playboy magazine to school, and we're all taking a look. I remember on the school bus, kid got from the it. This is connecting dots. Kids will investigate, and they hear things that you don't think they hear. They see things you don't think that they see. And we sit here as a society and we kind of promote it because we say it's okay. You should dress however you want to dress, but we don't think of the impact that it makes on kids. I'm not saying that women should, again, dress up in just turtlenecks. And I'm not saying that men should not have some sort of responsibility to control themselves, because they should. But we're teaching early on certain things. I basically pulled up some stuff. Back in the day, so one of the big issues that the reason why Cuties is not a big shock to me is because also in Japan, the big thing is schoolgirls. Now, to me, I think it's disgusting, but there's some people who like that. I think it's gross. Not only are some of these are grown women who are dressing that way, but a lot of times it's not. They also have what's called junior gravure, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but these are young, dressed in everything. I mean, it's disgusting. Even in bikinis that are very skimpy, it's disgusting. You have, what else did I write? I'm trying to see my notes because I try to bring them over. I was basically doing this on my phone, and I did it with my stylus, and I can write it out. But then when you transfer it over to the computer, it's just garbage. Let's talk about back in the day here in this country, because people are saying cultural, okay. This country. The reason why things like this can exist on Netflix is because of the precedent that we had set before. Brooke Shields. Now, Brooke Shields back in 1975 was in a movie called Pretty Baby. Now, she was 10 years old. That was allowed to happen. And even Hugh Hefner did and you can find this, unfortunately, you can find this even online now. Basically, they had what's called Sugar and Spice, I believe. I can't read my notes now. They're all garbled. But she was underage, and he paid a photographer $450. They took all types of pictures of her not in anything at all. That was allowed. The mother tried to sue. The Supreme Court in New York said, a 4-3 decision, said that it is not inappropriate at all. And if someone views it as pervasive, then that is their own mental viewpoint. Basically, there's something wrong with them if they view it that way. And then the lawyer for Hugh Hefner, because Hugh Hefner's Playboy published this, said that the mother wanted it both ways because she signed for it and agreed to it, but then also is trying to sue. Now, this was all in, so that was 75. Then in 78, that happened in terms of that. So 75, she made the Pretty Baby. 78, I believe, is when she, and I could be wrong with my dates, but they're all within the same range. It happened when she was 10, 12, and then 15. And then in like 1980, she made Blue Lagoon. Now, let me back up. Pretty Baby was basically about prostitution. That's all I'm going to say. And then 1980, Blue Lagoon. It was again very inappropriate. So the mother, remember, she wanted to sue, and then told her, now this is, I was not there, but this is what was in publication, that if people are upset with you, then F them. Now, this was what she said after the court ruling, saying that Brooke Shields should be proud of what she did. So the lawyers were right, was that she was trying to have it both ways. Brooke Shields now believes that everything she did was totally okay. She's proud of what she did. Okay. Well, So I mentioned junior gravure. There's also in South American countries. It used to be some on YouTube where these are people who are not that old. We're talking probably around the same age of the folks in Cuties, not a little bit older. And they're wearing some of the same stuff and dancing to some music, doing some provocative dances. I have seen where folks have twerked adults onto people who are not adults. And I've seen not adults twerking to each other. I've seen it in this country on YouTube. Now, again, I have zero tolerance for all of it. I think it's all inappropriate. But again, you cannot cherry pick and say it's okay in some circumstances, but over here, this ain't, because it's all, to me, the same. To me, it's all the same. Let's go and mention something else. In this movie, Cuties, they mention Kim Kardashian. Now, Kim Kardashian is looked up to because, by some. Now, we can't look at this as an adult and say, why would you look up to Kim Kardashian, right? Because we're adults. Kids, on the other hand, look up to the Kardashians and say, wow, look at, I mean, they're way up there. You know, they're beautiful and they got all this money and power and all this stuff and they use their body. Why not? Now, I'm not blaming Kim Kardashian, just like I'm not blaming Cardi B and I'm not blaming Snoop Dogg and Dre and all those other people. I'm not. I'm just saying that we tolerate certain things, but then we don't want to tolerate other things and we get confused as to why things like this can happen. Well, Kim Kardashian, by the way, let's take a look back at some other things. Montana Fishburne, right? Lawrence Fishburne's daughter got into the adult film industry because she wanted to be like Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian did some adult stuff, and so she wanted to do the exact same thing. Now, Montana Fishburne was an adult. But I bring that up because even if an adult, which I forget how old she was, I guess 20, even if someone who's 20 is that impressionable, imagine someone who's 20, very impressionable, thinking that I can work my way up by doing something similar. What do you think other people who are younger than that, what impression do you think that they have? Now, you can take something like the Keeping Up with the Kardashians as a benign show. But it is a connecting dot type of thing. Because kids will look at that show and be like, man, they're cool. See them on Instagram, man, they're cool. That's another dot. Then they do a little Google search. And people talk about Kim Kardashian's booty. Well, they do a Google search on that. That's another dot to connect. Well, then that leads down another, it's rabbit holes. And eventually they get to Ray J and Kim. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, some people will say that's a stretch. I don't think so. And the reason why I can say this is because I did the rabbit hole jump back in the day too. You know what I'm saying? I did the rabbit hole jump. And the fact that now we have the internet that is so prevalent, so easy. You can type in certain benign words and still get to things that are like, whoa. To me, I think that this movie is wrong. Let me see, what else did I say? Oh. Someone said that movies like this basically allows those opportunists, those disgusting pedos, an opportunity. And it does. Because movies like this, even though the film is claiming that they're trying to show that this is not a good thing, there's ways to do that. You don't have to go this length of where you're showing and focusing on certain areas of these young girls. You know, people make excuses. An opportunist makes excuses. And so when you look at the junior gravure in Japan, you had some Japanese people in interviews saying, well, maybe the parents were so poor that they were doing this, but they still thought it was disgusting, but they're saying maybe that's why. To me, that's making an excuse. And to me, those parents are trash. If you allow your child to be in any of those things, to me, you're trash. And I do have the right to judge you. Just like I think if you allow your child to listen to WAP, that to me is trash. You may disagree. I just think that it is. Because kids can look up stuff easily on the internet. Easily. And they can connect dots. And when we don't put a barrier there, things like this movie, which is trending, guess what? Kids can easily access Netflix. Now, people will say, well, adult has to have a such and such and blah, 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 blah. There are some parents who don't even know how to put a filter on a browser to stop kids from searching. There's some parents who set their kid down on Netflix and go off and do whatever they're doing, and kids have access. They do. And kids who know how to spell can easily type something in. Or, kids share things. I remember back in the day, it was word of mouth. Man, did you hear about such and such? Man, you gotta hear about this. You gotta go check this out. And that's how people found out about things back in the day. It's the old school way. Now, you can just basically tell people, hey, go Google this. Go Google that. Send an email. It's there. So if you forget, let me just check my email. It's all digital. It's there. So they can check it. And if they forget, see, back in the day, I'd forget, man, I forgot what you said. I couldn't even find it. What was it? Where do I gotta go? Now it's not like that. You don't have to go to some store to pick up a magazine that's covered in plastic wrap. Go into the store, convenience store. We knew exactly, and I was the one tall enough to reach that section. Pull the magazine down, rip it open, take a couple of looks, put it back up. You don't gotta do that no more. It's right there. And to me, it's all the same. I view Cuties, Junior Gravure, the folks that dance, the bounce, the kids that do the bounce dances, in the Latin American countries where there are kids doing that and it's on YouTube, or the toddlers and tiaras. All of it to me is the same. All of it to me is the same. And it's all, in my opinion, inappropriate. It's very inappropriate. I have seen things even on YouTube. I've seen, and on Periscope, I've seen kids on there. No, and these kids could be in various different countries. No parent in sight. Now, the kid may have gotten the parent's phone or whatever. I don't know. But the kid is, I remember seeing this, practicing some sort of gymnastic thing, not wearing hardly anything, and yet grown men cheering this on. It was disgusting. This type of thing happens often. And the fact that people are now cherry picking Cuties, but they don't want to talk about other things, doesn't make sense. I don't see this as a political argument. I think if you do, I think that's silly. And I don't think that it should be, regardless, conservatives or conservatives or liberals. I think that's stupid. This is not a political argument. This stands on basic principle. To me, my kids, what they're into is Minecraft. They go on the little Minecraft, they build different things. They have all these Legos. They're building all these cities with Legos. They play in the sandbox when I can get them out there to play in it. They do all these different things that are very, very innocent, and I don't let them have a phone. No judgment to those who let their kids have a phone, but I don't let even Zoe have a phone. And we monitor everything. Even now with their tablets, they can only be on them if we're there watching them. And at nighttime, the tablets have to be put a certain place. We treat that as if it's like a weapon, because it is, in my opinion. They don't have access unless we grant them access, and that there is some sort of supervision. and that one is able to see what the other one's doing. There's computers sitting right back here. I'll show you. This is their little study area. Look at those computers. No kids sitting there. Why? Because study time's done. And you can't log in on your own. And if you are able, like Zara's, she can log in on her own on that one, but it's so restricted that she can't do anything other than to go on to what the school requires her to go on to. And the computers are docked here. Most of the time, they're in the living room or upstairs. Also, their tablets are down there in this box. We have a bin over there. Their tablets are kept over there. Now, I'm not saying people should raise their kids the way that I do. And I'm not saying I have all the answers or that what we're doing is perfect. I'm not saying that. But I believe it's on the parents' responsibility to protect their kids. Let them be kids as long as they possibly can. Don't allow their... I've seen some parents who basically let their kids wear short shorts. Now, I'm from the South, and I've seen parents, supposedly conservative area, and I've seen parents who let their kids wear super short shorts. That's here. I've seen it in New Mexico. I've seen it in Indiana, and I've seen it in Kentucky. And we're talking kids who are school age. Super short shorts, super short skirts, extremely tight pants. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen girls who are in high school, and you know that they are. You could basically wearing Daisy Dukes. And their mama right there, just like, whatever. To me, and the parent can do whatever. But my whole point is that it's reinforcing things that are there. It's reinforcing what these little boys see when they're young, what little girls see when they're young. And they look at this and say, well, she's 16 and she's doing that. Why can't I wear it? Because if you look at the show Cuties, these kids are wearing clothes that, I mean, if you're 19, okay. But I don't think that kids should be wearing tights like that with nothing covering them. Leggings, I don't think they should be wearing that, in my opinion. Super short shorts, I don't think they should be wearing that, in my opinion. Crop tops that show stomachs and stuff, I don't think they should be wearing that. Two-piece swimwear, I don't think they should be wearing that, and definitely not G-string stuff, which some people, believe it or not, allow that. I don't think that they should. And I don't think they should be listening to WAP, because to me, kids emulate a lot of the things, and they look it up and they think everything is just, this is the way it's supposed to be. That maybe I'm old-fashioned. Today I asked Noelle, am I just that old? It was about something, not this. I'm like, am I that old? Like, I'm someone who is very open-minded on a lot of things. But am I really that out of touch? Like, am I that out of touch? I don't remember when Back That Thing Up was out. And me watching that like, yeah. But these are all adults, and I was an adult. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a problem with any of that. If someone wanted to be a prostitute, I don't care. I think that if that's what they want to do, so be it. Shouldn't be forced. But hey, if that's what they want to do, so be it. Or if somebody wants to wear a thong on the beach, so be it. Not a big deal. Don't care. If somebody wanted to walk around with no clothes on, so be it. I'm okay with that. Or people who work the bikini baristas at the coffee stands, that's cool. So some people may see that as extremely liberal, maybe. And some people may see my views right now extremely conservative, maybe. And maybe I'm completely out of touch. But to me, I have a problem with cuties. I absolutely do. But I also have a problem with toddlers and tiaras. I have a problem with Pretty Baby. I have a problem with Blue Lagoon. I have a problem with the Kardashians basically showing the stuff that they do. I actually have a problem with all those things. I do. I have a problem with WAP, but I don't necessarily have a problem with the people who necessarily create it. Like, I don't have a problem necessarily with Kim Kardashian herself. But I think that there should be messages. I think that these people have a responsibility to say, look, children be kids. The content that we make is not for kids. It's not for kids to see. Or Kim Kardashian should say, you know, I did stuff back in the day, or there's stuff out there on the internet that you should definitely not be looking at. I'm not necessarily proud of it, or maybe I am proud of it, whatever. But I think that there should be something that is said. And I do think that parents at the end of the day need to definitely be more involved in what their kids are doing and what they're seeing. You can't be everywhere all the time. I understand that. But to me, we can't cherry pick. We can't have it both ways and say, do whatever you want to do necessarily, but you know, you don't have a responsibility over here. And I just don't. To me, there's a problem all over the board. There's a problem all over the board. And, you know, I think that when it comes to kids, they should be sheltered. They should be protected. When I say that I think that people should be able to wear a thong on the beach, I think that those should be beaches that are not family beaches, by the way. Because I don't want people to say, well, you're saying the same thing. You're basically saying it's okay, but then this is wrong. I'm saying that on a family beach, it should just be normal wear. Like normal stuff that's not showing everything. That's my personal opinion. That's my personal belief. But there has been times whenever kids see, even when it's a normal bikini, there's still stuff. Some people. And I think that kids should be told, like, you know, that's not something you really should want to wear. My kids, if they see something like that, like if they happen to see a butt, they'll laugh. Because we have them that kind of, I guess, sheltered. They'll laugh at it and be like, ew. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reaction I want. It was for them to be like, ew, like, I wouldn't do that. That's embarrassing. Or why is she showing her butt? That's embarrassing. I'd rather that be the case than them to be like, oh. I don't want them to just normalize that. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. I don't want them to normalize that. I wouldn't take them to a certain area of Miami Beach and be like, yeah, here we go. We're on the beach. Because I know that there's going to be certain areas where this is very common. Right? And I don't want them to view themselves as nasty or dirty or the human body is dirty. I'm not saying that. But I also want them to understand that there's certain things that adults can wear and certain things that kids are supposed to wear, I guess is what I'm saying. That kids should wear these types of swimming outfits. And that if you're an adult, it's whatever. But as a kid, this is what you should actually wear because that's what's appropriate. You don't want your classmates to be like, ew. You know what I'm saying? Or saying, oh, look what you wear. We try to make it seem like, hey, as an adult, it's whatever. But you're never going to catch me wearing that. And in movies like this, it does the direct opposite. There are kids wearing whatever, and I disagree with that. I just disagree. Right? Yeah, adults can do pretty much whatever they want to do. But I think that there should be a wall there. And kids should not be able to see over that wall or through that wall. I think that kids should be able to be, instead of listening to WAP, they should be listening to a lot of the songs like, I don't know, the Wiggles.